Today marks a very special occasion.
Does it?
It does. Because we said before we even made our first podcast episode, we said to ourselves, we need to make 20 episodes before we even post once on social media or anywhere that we're going to post. And this marks episode... Actually, no, we said we weren't going to say what episode we're on.
Well,
Anyways.
You just pretty much gave it away. We weren't going to start until 20, but we're not going to say what number it is. And this is a big moment, but we're not going to say what it is.
Let's just know that this is a milestone. So if you're watching this video or this recording, this was a milestone moment that we decided we're posting after this episode.
Yeah.
So thank you guys for watching and keeping this podcast alive.
It may be 20, it may not be, but that's for you to decide after that intro. So let's.
Should we just even if it's number 1? Should we just podcast 20 on the title?
The podcast that changed it all.
Oh. That's a title. That's a title. I like it.
What are you looking at?
We're doing a collab with Snake Eye Media. Yeah, I just wanted to let them know. Yeah, a little plug.
Now, the theme of today. Last week we focused... What did we focus on last week? Pretty much what we focused on was, I think it was the power of now, or something along those lines.
We did talk about Atomic Habits again.
We
love that book. It's funny how we always think back to books that we've read, because I feel like they can shape your current your current self and your future self in some way. After reading Atomic Habits, I feel like it did change the way I think about things, the way I do things, the way I live my life. Because at the end of the day, your life is just a representation of your habits. That's honestly my belief. My belief is your life, or the life that you live, the lifestyle that you're living day in, day out, is just a representation of the habits that you decide to keep and continue doing every day. So if you're someone that is a runner, then you just you just built the habit of running more often than someone that's not a runner. True?
True. You're not wrong there.
I am. And there's people out there that I'm not going to continue with what I was about to say, because I was about to say something very rude, but I'm learning to stop myself before continuing. You know, I have been known to just say what's on my mind sometimes, a bit too much. All right, and sometimes the things I say can be taken out of context for some people. So I've decided that no, hold back. Not everyone's going to agree with what you're saying, and you know what? I feel like a big teacher for me in this new life of mine is right here.
Hey guys.
So teacher,
The motivational guru here.
Would you like to tell the class or tell our viewers exactly how you saw me change from this person that was just so open and ready to just unload everything onto everyone, to someone that bites their tongue sometimes when they really want to say something and they stop themselves? Because I feel like I have come a long way.
You have, my friend. For the people that watch this and know Brendon, he's a very eccentric person. What's the word?
Eccentric.
No, that's a PT term. Eccentric.
Oh, eccentric.
Concentric.
No, it's...
Oh, it is.
eccentric.
No, you're right.
Is this how you would describe me? Let's see. Unconventional and slightly strange. Yes.
Yeah,
that's a definition.
All right. Brendon is very eccentric to all the people that surround him.
But I don't think slightly strange. I feel like heavily strange.
Yeah.
It's probably a better word.
I'll
back the Google definition.
Let's just go with strange.
All right.
But the one thing that I haven't been teaching him like a teacher, but the one thing that I've been saying to him,
I was never a good student.
So it's quite hard to teach someone that has fully proclaimed that he's not a good student.
Yes.
But I think the one thing that we both sort of tried to get out of him, like you tried to get out of yourself, I tried to get out of you. But the one thing that we kind of kept as a constant was the fact that communication is key. We speak about communication a lot. I think we spoke about it in one of our previous podcasts.
Oh, yes. And I feel like a big thing as well is, for me, this might be a bit weird to a lot of people because, what would you say, we're Gen Z,
Yep.
we're born in 99. But I feel like our friends or the people we grew up with, we would associate ourselves as being more millennials. And I feel like a lot of people born in our like around our years would associate more with millennials rather than the current Gen Z
We got
generation.
we got to dip our toes in both those gens. I think
Yeah,
the period that we were born in, you kind of got a bit of
a
both.
bit of both. Yeah, but I feel like I associate more with millennials, and something that was very common for millennials is they grew up in an era where boys don't cry. Okay, maybe that was a bit further back, maybe. I don't know. I
Yeah.
feel like that's always been a thing though. Like the whole boys don't cry. If you're a man, you have to do things on your own. You have to be independent. You can't seek help. You
Yeah.
can't go to others. And I grew up in an environment that was so heavily geared towards that type of marketing, that type of agenda. And growing up, I just adopted that and realized, all right, if I want to do something, I've got to do it on my own. No one else is going to help me. It was only when I built a really good connection with Rianon that I was able to realize, okay, wait a second, I can talk to other people. I don't really need to get their guidance, and it's not going to really, it doesn't have to impact my decisions of what I do. But sometimes unloading at times or communicating your problems or anything with other people doesn't have to be seen as a burden. And that's still a big thing for me because I feel like I still haven't got to that point because I still feel like
Yeah.
if I ever talk to someone, I'm burdening them
Yeah.
with my problems, and
Yeah.
I hate doing that.
I think the
So I
one
feel like it's definitely a learning curve. You can't just go from not doing it at all to doing it all the time.
the one thing that I prompted you to do as much as possible was talk to the right people that you know will give you the right information or the right guidance or the right opinions that will make you think outside of your comfort zone. So I think one of the big things, one of the big shifts for you was going from a closed book that was very loud to an open book that was very loud but knew when to be loud. Like you learn to control your persona, in a sense. So
Yeah,
like
like
when
I'm a very loud personality.
yeah
Yeah, I'm a very loud personality, but then what has happened is I realized that because I'm so loud and so out there, I can impact other people or the people around me. And making that shift to realize, okay, the things that I say, the things that I do have an impact on other people.
yeah
And I'm sure there's people, if they do watch this podcast, are going to be like, yes, yes,
I
he's finally
understand.
said it.
I understand. But yeah,
Yes, he's understanding himself. But now I've come to that realization that I was doing things, I was saying things, and I guess from my perspective, I didn't see it. I didn't understand how what I was saying or what I was doing how much of an effect it had on other people. But now that I've realized, I'm like, okay, dickhead, make a change
that's been the
because you
biggest
don't want to be like that
yeah
anymore.
that's been the biggest shift I think, and like a lot of people can relate in a sense where um, communicating isn't their focal point or isn't a strong point in their life, and getting to a point where you go, okay, I've got a problem with this person or I've got this issue with this person, and having the right patience, having the right self-care, the right mindfulness in your own headspace before approaching those situations is sometimes the saving grace that will save you from an argument or will just get someone to understand where you're coming from. Because a lot of the times people will just blurt it all out and not really process what they're saying, but it's easy for them just to blurt it out, and then that person that they're speaking to is able to adapt their conversation to all the
Whatever they're
information
saying, yeah.
that's come out.
Mm.
So like one thing that I got the privilege of getting to know you was just, all right, open the floodgates. And this is the thing, people can do this, and I think a lot of people tend to forget that conversation is very powerful. But even just asking the question like, how are you going? Are you feeling all right? Is everything okay? Do you need a talk? Those like little questions could literally just like shift
Open the
someone's mind.
floodgates for someone.
Yeah. And that is so powerful, because then you can, with the knowledge that you have up until the point that you have that conversation, is what you can provide for that person. But anything past your knowledge, you can't feed someone the wrong information. Otherwise, you're just, well, you're feeding them the wrong information.
Exactly.
They're gonna be going down a path of, oh, okay, well, because Brendon told me to climb the harbour bridge with no harness, I'm gonna do it. But then someone else with more knowledge than you will be like, oh no, it's a smart idea that you do use the harness. And if you don't, you're gonna fall off. So like,
But they'll probably listen to me, I reckon.
you know, potato, potato. But that was the one thing that I got to sort of break down with you was, okay, open the floodgates, close them. Here's what I think, and that like back and forth in conversation would be sitting in this room talking for 2-3 hours about one topic. Would be going for a walk and talking about another topic and this and that, and there's always opportunity to talk. I don't
To
think
segue, to jump, to
well, we've managed to
move
talk.
on.
We've managed to talk for 20 hours.
Well, yeah, there you go.
So like,
And a lot longer than that.
and a lot longer. So
We just decided to put a camera in front of our faces this time.
so like the importance of the communication or the question asking can really shift someone's mindset, can really shift someone's relationships, their growth, their development in any field
It's
or any
important,
area.
and
Yeah.
women are so good at this. You know, everyone knows, and you know, women can agree, men can agree. Women are known to be able to openly speak about their problems. Whenever they have a tough day, they're able to just come home and unload that, because there's always been a space for women to come home and unload everything that's happening.
Yeah.
Men have just been known to be closed and not share their problems because they're going to be seen as weak, right? And that's always been a thing. And what I notice a lot in my relationships with women is that when they do come to me with their problems, I always go into fix mode, always, without fail. And I think I don't understand why. I feel like it's because I deal with my problems on my own. So in that sense, I always have to just fix them myself. So whenever I have a problem, I'm like, all right, how can I overcome this?
Yeah.
That's what I do.
How can
That's
I
next.
fix it?
Because I don't talk about it. So I'm like, I just try and fix it myself. So when someone comes to me with a problem, I just do the exact same process as what I do for myself, just trying to help that person. So whenever I'd be in a relationship, they'd come to me with a problem or a tough day, and I would just go into solution mode. Oh, did you do this? Can you try this next time? What about if you try this the next time you do this? Whatever it is. And I noticed every single time I used to always get backlash, and that used to be a massive problem for me, because sometimes I just wanted a listening ear.
Yeah.
Someone to just listen to their problems.
Yeah.
But that never clocked to me. I didn't understand it. I was like, but if you do this, it's going to fix a problem, and then you won't be like this next time. No, I just want you to listen.
Yeah.
Just want you to listen. And I was like, don't understand, but all right. Ride the wave.
Yeah, exactly. It's the listening is the hardest part. I think because in nature we're very wired to just help and fix. So in a sense it's always kind of been like that.
Provide, protect.
So it's always been like, okay,
I'll go hunt for the food.
Yeah,
bring it home and protect from predators.
Now it's like you've got to think of that provide, protect, but then also ask. Like that conversation is very, very key. When it comes to relationships, when it comes to family ships, when it comes to friendships, any sort of
relationship with another human.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be like male female sexual relationships or anything. But in terms of like that's another thing, the provide and protect thing, because I feel like that's gotten so skewed
I think
in recent years.
Yeah, people think it's like very like Stone Age, like provide, protect, like men go hunting.
Men go hunt. Men protect from animals.
Yeah, but
it's like
it's been very skewed.
I feel like in this day and age, women are working just as hard as men.
100%.
You know, I'm seeing so many successful businesswomen out there making millions of dollars. Good on them. Respect. So when they have a partner, it's no longer that dynamic of provide and protect in the sense that it used to be, in terms of, oh, the man has to go out and work while she cooks and cleans at home. However, I still think there should be that sense of provide and protect. And I heard you say this really well actually recently. And it's actually a very common thing. When a woman is with a man that is masculine, that has masculine qualities, they're able to switch off their brains when they're around them. You know what I mean? So, for example, you told me a story where you were just on a walk with a girl, and for that whole walk, she was able to just switch off mentally that whole time, to the point that she would have walked straight into a pole. Now that is an extreme example. That is an extreme example of what I'm trying to say. But it goes to show that she felt that comfortable around him that she was able to just know, all right, me being with this guy means that I'm gonna get to the destination that I'm gonna be happy with.
Yep.
So I'm able to just switch off mentally and just go da 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 da, whatever. I'm not saying she's dumb at all. I'm not saying she's dumb at all. It's just trying to say that
that's the power of a conversation. Like
yes.
you can have people literally switch off their brain from the whole external of work, the whole external of problems, situations they're in, financial struggles. Like,
so this whole provide and protect thing isn't about money, isn't about protecting from a lion trying to chase you down, isn't about trying to go hunting for food.
Yeah.
Now it's about trying to show that there is still this, not power imbalance, because everyone is equals. Men and women are equal, 100% equal on everything. It's just to show that, okay, he's the man, let him take control in some situations in terms of, you know, maybe directing you across the road to make sure you're safe. So then you can focus on just being you, looking cute, holding his hand. It's not about that, but
yeah, it's turned to like provide, protect, care now. I feel, because the care factor kind of went, it was still there, but it kind of faded away in this whole equality charge thing that sort of went on in the past couple of years. Now, I don't think too many people focus on that extra care factor outside of the provide and protect. They focus on the provide and protect as their main sort of viewpoint on it.
Yeah, and
they forget about it. They forget about that care factor. So that's like what I try and provoke to people or tell people. You do it as well. All the people that I've surrounded myself do it as well. So it's just like all through experiences though. You like grab it, you take and grab like all those experiences that you've had throughout your life. You analyze it, you take a step back. It's pretty much, you know, like those, there was a episode of Black Mirror, and what was the episode? They had like this the eye recording that whenever, let me explain. In this episode of Black Mirror, these people came into the world, and once they were a certain age, they got this eye implanted in their head, and it would record every single step and every single process of their life, and they were able to sit down and watch their whole life.
What the
They
hell?
were able to record, like it was able to record every single day. That can be sort of thrown into an analogy in the sense that if you look at your life, or you look back at your life of what you can remember, and you take a step back and you take little pieces and you put them all into one little folder of the things that you have seen yourself develop and change into a better person, a better talker, a better businessman, a better husband, wife, partner, friend. Imagine you put all those into one folder.
I've heard this said really well. It's about how Like if you live your life thinking that some video crew is watching you every step of the way, what would you be doing differently? Would
Yeah.
you still be scrolling on social media for 4 hours a day, or would you be working? Would you be doing something else that is more productive? But it's not about being more productive. Maybe you would be going out with more friends or visiting your family more often, doing all these extra things just because of the fact that a video crew is following you around. If you have that thought in your head, your life is going to be very different to the one you're living now. Maybe not.
Yeah.
Because maybe people are already living like that. You know, I know that there are moments in my life where I'm just sitting and I'm like, damn, if a film crew was watching me right now, I wouldn't want to watch this part right now, you know?
It'd go big on the blockbusters. It's like Joan is awful.
Oh, yes, Joan is awful.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like that was another Black Mirror episode. Yeah, it
I
was.
think it was Black
It was
Mirror,
Black Mirror. Joan is awful. It was like about how she
If you haven't watched it, watch it, guys.
watch it. It's
She signed up to like some Netflix subscription, but it was Netflix from the future.
yeah.
And then in the documents, it said we can record your whole life and just follow your life and then upload it to Netflix,
Yeah.
whatever it is.
Yeah.
And then Salma Hayek was playing her character, and then there was
crazy.
it was like a show inside a show
It was
inside
full
a show inside
Inception.
a show.
It was full Inception, but it was a good way to demonstrate how you would people would do things so differently if they knew that someone was watching them. Like she had someone of it. She had the subscription she signed up to sort of follow her throughout her everyday life, but it changed her as a person mentally, physically, emotionally. Like she had to completely change everything. But I think in just hypothetically speaking, management wise, like stress management wise, what would you do in a situation like that? Because that's heavy. Imagine
Or having your whole life recorded and then posted on social media.
in that
Oh, like
sense.
Netflix, whatever.
Yeah, in that sense, like not obviously to that depth, but like as I said, metaphorically, if you knew that you had someone
Following you around, like a
and it
TV
was-
crew following you
and
around.
it was stressing you out to a point, what would you do to manage that stress? Knowing that someone's watching you for say you have a 9 to 5 job and someone knows
So
that
I'm
you
probably
have
the
to
worst guy to ask that question to.
because
Because
you
we just said like how eccentric I am, and honestly, I'd probably love it. I'd probably live off the fact that I'm being recorded. I'm like, yeah, look at this. But I will say, there will come a point where I'm like, yeah, fuck off. Like
Yeah.
I want to start doing. I want you to leave so I can just be on my own for a bit. Because even though I feel like I am a very, what's the word? Out there personality, and I definitely get energy from being around people. There is moments where I do need to switch off. Yes, I sleep, but also outside of the sleep time, I still need time to just switch off from everyone else.
Yeah.
You know, but I do feel like there are times where I'll spend a whole day to myself, and I feel like I'm a lot more run down in those days than I am on days that I'm spending the whole day around other people. Could be
Why-
running around.
What makes you more run down in those days?
I can't explain it. Honestly, you guys try to explain it for me, but I feel like I could be running around all day, going to the gym, playing sport, going out with my mates after breakfast, lunch, dinner, being all out the house, like doing all these activities. I would be full of energy by the end of that day. But then another day, so I would be at home, sitting on the couch, relaxing. I'd actually be so much more run down and probably end up needing to sleep a little bit earlier or need to actually reset for a bit of time.
What are some ways that you sort of overcome that? Because it doesn't sound like you're stressing out or you're mentally fatigued. It just sounds like your body's kind of going, okay, switch off, cool down, relax. It's the day to yourself. Just learn to sort of relax.
Yeah, but I think it's a bit different to that because I feel like I legit honestly feel like when I'm around other people, I get more energy. I feel like I'm a lot more energized than I am when I'm by myself.
Yeah.
And I did say that it is an actual quality of someone that is the DI thing. What's the
Directed,
personality trait?
influential.
No, not that. What's a
This profile.
no, not the this profile. Yeah, extroverted.
Yeah.
Yeah, so a big quality of people that are extroverted or extroversion is that they get energy of being in social situations or being around other people.
Yeah.
And introversion or introverts, it's the opposite
Yeah.
in terms of they actually get more energy from being alone or being in solitude and stuff
Yeah.
like that. And not everyone is not 100% extroverted, 100% introverted. Everyone is on, think of an imaginary line, this being introversion, this being extroversion. Everyone is always going to be somewhere along that line. You know, you're either going to be pretty close to fully extroverted, pretty close to fully introverted. I would say like I'm leaning more to extroversion, but I'm not fully there. I still have some form of introversion in my life as well.
Yeah.
So even though I get more energy from being around other people, there are moments where I need to just detach and be on my own as well, because there are those two parts of me. I'm not just one robotic human.
Far out. It's crazy. Like when you actually look back, do you actually go like far out? I've come a long way, or do you just look back and go, I used to be that. Cool. Next day. Because a lot of people dwell on it, and a lot of people try to forget it, and a lot of people use it as a source to develop new skills. What would you say is a way to build the resilience to sort of use all those, use the past
Everything
as
that's happened
your
in your past. I feel like
as like your fuel?
for me, I
What?
always see my past. I'm always proud of it.
Yeah.
I say proud, and I use the word proud just because I feel like when I look back,
Yeah.
the only thing I can think of is everything that happened before now led me to where I am now. And I'm happy where I am now. So obviously everything I did before this, not everything was good, not everything was right, but it led me to where I am now. So I'm just proud of it. I'm
Yeah.
not happy and saying like, oh yes, I had such a good past or whatever
Yeah.
it is. It's more these things happened in my past, but the things that happened in my past led me to here,
Mm.
and I'm happy here. So everything that happened before now
Happened for a reason.
happened for a reason. So
Mm.
I see it as Alhamdulillah, good.
Yeah. I think well, I use it heaps. Like everything happens for a reason. It's probably one of the best ways to look at things. Like everything does happen for a reason. You can't forward think too much and say, okay, I want to. See, it's
You can
hard.
have
You can
goals.
you
You
can
can have
have goals.
goals.
You can have goals. You can work towards it. You can manifest it. All that stuff. But I think if you forward think like, all right, where am I going to be in 40 years? All right, I want to be there in 40 years. Cool, cool, cool. All right,
If you're
I'm just gonna
constantly,
work to the 40-year goal. That's it.
if you're constantly thinking of, if you're constantly just thinking of the future and thinking, oh, okay, this is what I want to get to. This is, I really want that. I really want that. And your mind is just thinking future, 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 future. Then you're never gonna live in the present, and you need to live in the present.
Yeah.
So I feel like if you're constantly just always thinking of the future, then you're never gonna live in the here and now,
Mm.
which is the most important part. Because if you're not, what's gonna happen is what's gonna happen tomorrow. You're not gonna have any memories from yesterday because your memories from yesterday was thinking about tomorrow.
Mm.
And the same is going to continue. It's going to keep on going like that.
Yeah.
Then you're going to have a whole year gone, and you're going to think, what did I achieve last year? Oh, that's right. My whole year was done thinking about what's going to be happening this year.
Yeah.
And then you're just going to keep on repeating that cycle.
Yeah.
Not to that extent,
Yeah.
but you can see where I'm going with that. And it's all the inverse is true for people that always just think about the past.
Mm.
If you're constantly thinking about the past and what happened in the past, and you're never going to be thinking about that now, and you're never actually going to be building something to think about in the future.
Yeah. I think that's very important as well. There's a book that I've dabbled in a bit. It's called The Power of Now. I was talking about it with Vinny the other day, and it's a really, really good book if you are an overthinker. So a lot of people, like I used to be someone that would always overthink about a situation before it would happen, so it would put me into a state of like anxiousness. So I'd never really focused
Or
on.
ketosis.
So anyway, this book, The Power of Now. um, intermission. Just throwing ketosis in there. Just completely throw off my co-host. Thanks, bro. Anyway, this book, The Power of Now, speaks about how important it is to focus on right now rather than dwelling in the future. And in the book, it speaks a lot about how a lot of people do dwell in the future and they focus on a lot of what's next instead of what's now. So one of the focal points of the book speaks about how your future isn't set in stone. What did it say? Your future isn't set in stone, but everything you do now can help you set what you think now in stone for the future. So kind of like, it's like a play on words, like it flips itself. But having the right, like learning about how to get to your point B, which is something that we talk about as PTs a lot, I think that book is really good to help some people like us or just people that are overthinkers focus on what's important now and focus on the headspace that people are in now. So then the guidance side of things is a lot more inviting.
Prominent. Yeah.
It's a lot more inviting. People understand, okay, cool. If I just focus on what I'm doing now, this is what I'm doing this week. Cool, I can do this. Oh, if it shifts a bit, I can't really get rolled up about the fact that my appointment cancelled. Like I couldn't control that. It teaches you a lot about how you can't control what is in the future. You can
control the here and now.
Only control the here and now. You can drive yourself to that destination, but you don't know that you're going to get a flat tire.
Exactly.
You don't know that there's going to be a gas station another 2Ks, even though you've got 1 kilometer of fuel left.
Yeah. And that's actually like, I haven't read this book, but it is a book that I really want to read.
Yeah, it's definitely one on the list.
Honestly, and I was talking about this to some of my friends yesterday. They asked me, and this was Vinny as well, actually. He asked me, like, what is probably the biggest thing that you teach all your clients? And if you guys don't know, whoever's listening, we are both PTs. So when I say clients, I'm talking about like my personal training clients. One of the biggest teachings that I give every single one of my clients is the fact that you have this goal. You want to lose weight, you want to gain weight, you want to gain muscle, whatever it is. Picture your fitness or health goal that you want to achieve at that current time. What would happen when you get to it? Or what would you be when you get to it? What lifestyle would you be living when you are at that goal? And I get them to think, okay, this is going to be a future thing. They're thinking about the future. Oh, this is the life I'm going to be living when I get to this goal. And I'm like, okay, start doing that now. And that's the simplest thing, because if you think about it, let's make this a lot more simple for everyone to understand. If your goal is to lose 20 kilos, then I want you to start thinking about what would me, 20 kilos lighter, be doing every day?
Going for walks, hitting 10,000 steps, eating better, training better.
Every single person I ask that question to always knows the answer. And I say, okay, all you have to do is build those habits that create that lifestyle. So you're thinking about this goal that's going to happen in X amount of weeks, X amount of months, X amount of years, whatever it is. All you have to do is change it into, oh, what do I have to be doing now and today and tomorrow to be getting me closer and closer to that goal? So instead of thinking about a year down the track, you're thinking about, what am I doing today to get me that little bit closer? It doesn't have to be 100% of the way. It can be like that little increment. And I do this with all of my own goals as well. So all of our goals for our business, for our podcast, for my own business, whatever it might be, and everything that I do, I have big goals that might take years and years to actually achieve. And one of them is our social media pages. We know that it's going to take years and years for those things to develop. Maybe one video might blow up. Maybe they won't. Maybe it will take me 10 years to get there. Doesn't matter. What am I doing now to get me closer and closer to that point? What I have to be doing is making sure that, and I have got these goals right up here, is I've got weekly targets that I've got to be doing every single week. If I miss 1 week, I'm like, okay, that's just 1 week slower to get me there. Or I can just push harder the next week. Or just mindset out. Then the day, all that's going to happen in my head is, okay, I missed 1 week. All I have to do is just not miss another one. Just like a cheat day.
Yeah. How would you? Because a lot of like that seems easy to us or to someone that has made that step forward to be like, okay, I need a trainer. But what would you say to people that aren't ready to take that step yet? What could they do to work themselves towards a step like that?
To getting a PT.
To getting a PT, to starting something new, just how would you suggest someone to embrace the next step of growth mentally, physically, emotionally?
Do you like your current life right now as you're living it? Look at your life. Take a picture of your whole life, your career, your relationships with people, your health, your current fitness level, everything. Take a snapshot of it right now. Do you like everything that you're doing? Do you like your relationships with your family, friends, partners, whatever it might be? Do you like your career or the way that your career is going? Do you like what you're doing every day for your health and fitness? If you like them, great. If you don't, maybe it's good to actually outsource and find someone that is a professional. And yeah, we're talking about just health and fitness here. Come to a PT if you feel like you're slacking when it comes to health and fitness. Go to a business coach or a mentor if you feel like you want to elevate your career. Go to a relationship therapist or maybe communicate better with your current relationships with people, whether that be your family, your friends, your current partners, whatever it might be, because you having those conversations or building connections with people that have done it before is going to allow you to elevate those areas of your life. And then you're going to be a lot more fulfilled in all those areas. I'm not saying go to a PT. If you feel like you're lacking in that certain department of your life, maybe it would be a good idea to, and that would be my 2 cents. And we've got a whole team of professionals that you can talk to. So just
Slight plug.
just go to our socials and you'll be able to see Dynamic Recov in either one of our bios. Press that link, you'll be able to see both of our heads talking absolute smack about nutrition, personal training. And if you don't get all the tips and advice from those videos, we've got a website full of content. I've written 100 plus blogs by this point. And if you still don't find information there, we can pair you up with a professional that will be able to guide you from point A to point B.
That was great. That was good. I reckon I'm going to crop that out and put that on our Instagram. That question and that response and that plug. Perfect. And just put it through the ads on Instagram.
Oh, that's our ad, guys.
That's our ad.
That was our live ad, all right?
Now, speaking of social media, you've had a bit of change of heart on social media.
I
recently.
have.
Why? And
I wrote
what
that.
has?
I wrote that in there, didn't I?
Why and what has been the big change?
Look, for me, I've never been a social media person. Never. So if you actually go all the way down through my socials, all the way back through all those mobility posts and whatever's on there right now when you're seeing this video, you'll be able to see that I was not regularly posting. I was never like some influencer and wanted to post everything like that. Fast forward to when we started Dynamic Recov, we started putting our face on social media. So we started recording videos and we did that for the main purpose of building a brand and an image for our business. Purposely for the business. So I saw it as work. I'm only on social media to record content for work. But then I started getting a lot more confident in front of the camera because I was recording 7 to 10 videos every single week. And some of them were getting posted, some of them weren't. Editing them, constantly hearing my voice and everything all day long. Then what happened was I realized I've got a specialty in the fitness industry which I love talking about, I love promoting, and I loved posting about. And this was my mobility coaching stuff. Yes, it didn't really align fully with Dynamic Recov because we want Dynamic Recov to be mainly about habits, starting a fitness journey, returning to fitness journeys, and mobility coaching is very separate or very different to that type of world.
It's a niche.
It's a niche. It's a niche in the fitness industry. Whereas in Dynamic Recov, we care about accepting everyone, allowing everyone to feel safe and come to a happy place that you'll be able to learn and develop in your health and fitness journeys. Whereas coming to mobility coaching, you're going to be pushed to the limits for your strength and flexibility of your joints and muscles, which is something I like promoting. Right. But what I started doing was I started posting it all over my social media page. So I was posting 1 to 2 videos every single day about stretches, strength workouts, flexibility exercises, and my whole feed was getting blown up full of all these exercises. And then I realized, hang on a second, there's nothing here about dynamic recov. There was nothing in my social media about dynamic recov because of how much I was flooding it with all this mobility stuff. So if people came to my page or my Instagram, they wouldn't have known that I owned dynamic recov, or that they wouldn't have been able to actually go into dynamic recov if they weren't looking for mobility coaching. So I realized, okay, I need to make a shift from this. I need to make a change. So then if people come onto my page and they want something very general, they don't need mobility coaching, they should be able to find the way to dynamic recov. So I decided I need to pull away from all this mobility coaching stuff. So I created a full different page for that. So if you check out Joints for Life X, you'll be able to see all of my mobility videos and be able to learn and develop about what mobility coaching is. So I made that change. I realized we're making this podcast. We're going to be posting a lot of our shorts all over our social media platforms as well. So my page is going to be, I guess, you go to it. There's going to be links there. Then you can find Dynamic Recov. You can find Joints for Life, and you can find our podcast. Sort of like a GP. Because when you walk into a GP, but they might not have all the answers for you, but they'll be able to point you in the right direction. So that's sort of what I've decided I want my current page to be like. A GP that points you in the right direction. You want mobility? Come to this page. You want general health, build healthier habits, go to Dynamic Recov. You want to learn how much of a fuckwit Brendon is, go to the podcast.
You'll learn a lot about Brendon.
Yeah, you'll learn a lot about me
aspect.
in every single aspect.
But what made that change for you? Was it the fact that you were able to use Instagram as like a tool? Or
Yes.
was it, yeah.
Yeah, so
you found a passion for the fact that you could use Instagram as a tool rather than, oh my God, I'm doing this. Oh my God, I'm doing that.
Yeah, using it as a tool rather than, oh, look at me. Look how shredded I am.
I'm doing this, I'm doing that.
Because if you notice, like, I train all the time, but I'm wearing a lot of oversized stuff.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's our general, the way we dress all the time. This is my gym shirt. I just went to the gym before this, and this is exactly how I look. Like, pretty baggy or whatever. If I took my shirt off, I'm looking pretty... Nah. Nah, but honestly, like, we train all the time. We don't like to flaunt the fact that we train all the time. Yeah, my social media might have pictures of me shirtless in the gym, because what I want my social media to show is just me. Because at the end of the day, yes, I have these businesses. Yes, I'm going and developing a podcast that you might be listening to right now. But I also want you to see me as a real human being as well. Not some business guy that all he does is eat, sleep, business, repeat. Because there's other things and other aspects of my life, like me denting my car recently, which had nothing to do with what I was saying. But you know, let me just finish my little segue introduction to my life and social media change of heart thing with one of the best sayings that I had our whole Europe trip, which was, "Ride the wave, boys. Ride the wave."
And riding the wave is
one of my biggest teachings as well.
riding the wave was one of the things that, like we kind of spoke about before, was the ups and downs of change, life,
yeah,
everything. Like it's a great quote from a great movie, Finding Nemo. If you haven't watched it,
yes, Finding Nemo. Nugget.
But it's a good way to sort of, when I used to go to a therapist, they would sort of talk to me about
Nemo.
not Nemo, no. They would talk to me about how to. Yeah, I was scared of Nemo, so I went to one. No, they were teaching me ways to overcome adversity or overcome the loud noises and the loud voices. And one of the ways they taught me to sort of get an overthinking mindset out of your head was to think about grabbing a bottle, writing down everything that you're stressing about in the moment, putting it in that bottle, putting the lid on, and throwing it in the river. Now this river is circular, so it will eventually come back, but it will take a long time before you see it again. But at least you're aware that in that moment that you throw it in the water, you kind of forget about it, but it's always going to be there because it's a circular river. But when it comes back, it'll remind you of it, but you won't be tempted to jump in the water and grab that water bottle to read.
Yeah, well, what happens when you start living your whole life, whatever, you're 50 years old, and you've chucked in 1,000 bottles, then every day would just be a new bottle passing by.
The river gets wider.
Oh, it just keeps on going.
Every time you throw the water bottle in, the river gets wider, the water gets deeper.
Okay, makes sense. So it doesn't. Okay, that's pretty cool.
Yeah,
that's actually a good way to think about it.
It's just an analogy.
Remember, this is an analogy, guys. I made it too literal just there.
But yeah, like in that sense, like the river gets wider, the water gets deep, the ocean of the lake gets deeper. You're finding it harder and harder to see all the bottles, and by the time you are 80, 90, it turns into an ocean, and you won't be able to find that bottle
unless you go swimming.
Unless you go swimming for it. But
which you wouldn't need to do.
If you want to do that, you're more than welcome to go back and relive your life. But
I would. I'd go back and be like, damn, I was stupid for doing that. Why did I do that? Oh my god, look, Evolv podcast. No, honestly, so taking away from that, because that's actually a really good lesson. I was watching a podcast this morning. It was Chris Williamson and Jordan Peterson, so their podcast, and it was talking about. Jordan Peterson actually said, I think it was Jordan Peterson. It was either Jordan or Chris. One of them said something about Elon Musk being a guy. Oh no, Elon Musk said this. So they were talking about it, but Elon Musk actually said this about himself. He said, no one would want the storm that is in my head. So when you're talking about writing everything down, putting into a bottle and throwing it in the river because you're an overthinker, to me, I feel like Elon is probably one of the most successful people on this earth right now. Everyone knows his name. Everyone knows who he is. He's a very intelligent man. I mean, just look at Tesla. Just look at SpaceX. Everything that he's creating is moving worlds, moving dimensions, whatever it is. Okay. What I can say is if that guy has all these thoughts happening in his head and he's calling it a storm in his brain or a storm in his head, when you have those thoughts or you have those voices in your head, sometimes you got to realize that you're not alone. Everyone kind of has this. Yeah, even the most successful people in the world, like Elon Musk. So don't start thinking like, oh, I'm doomed because I have all these voices in my head stopping me from working or stopping me from doing my daily life. No, you can still continue on. You just got to figure out a way to navigate your new norm. Because everyone has these voices. You just got to be better at dealing with it.
I think the navigation's the hardest part, or figuring out how to navigate it. Because you can get lost in the fact that it's too overwhelming to a point where you just explode. And when you explode, you're just in a rut. And when you're in a rut and you don't talk to anyone about it, you're in that rut for longer.
I don't know if this is a good thing, but I'm going to say it anyway. I don't know if this is a good thing, but for me, like, I'm known by my mates to burn the files. And I've always had this skill for my whole life, right? Where I'm able to just completely switch off my brain and be able to focus heavily on what I'm doing. So if I'm writing a blog or I'm writing up an email or reading a book, whatever it is, I have this random ability to just completely switch my brain off from everything else outside of what I'm doing at that current point.
Yeah, you can't multitask.
I can't multitask, right? But another thing as well with that is if I've been out the whole day or if I know that I want to have a bit of a rest and sleep for a little bit, and a classic example of this was I came back home from my visa. It was like 6 o'clock at night or something. Well, 6 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
But I had just arrived back at the hotel.
So it would have felt like night.
Everyone was inside the house, and all the boys were just laying on the bed. I walked in the room; they were all still awake for some reason. I think you guys had just gone back not long before
We
that.
just got back as well, yeah.
You just got back as well.
Yeah.
Oh,
Well, we got back like an hour or so before, but we were just up talking.
Oh,
and
so
then-
they were up talking. I got in the room and I was like, "Oh, don't we have to leave tomorrow morning?" And I think we had to leave like 30 minutes
Yeah.
after I had just arrived home.
Yeah.
And I was like, "All right, sweet. So I've got 20 minutes to sleep, whatever." And Ray was like, "No, you've got exactly 19 minutes or something like that." And I was like, "Done." I was
Out
able
like
to
a light.
sleep like that. And I've always had that skill, and I feel like in my head, the way I process it is, okay, I've got to do this now. Let me just switch everything else off. And I
Yeah.
know not everyone is able to do that, but I just have this thought in my head, okay, tomorrow is another day. I can just recontinue this, if that makes sense.
Everyone else can rehash my day for me.
Yeah.
The
I
complete
think
switch
it's a cool skill to have. I don't know how to teach someone that skill. I wouldn't know how to teach someone that skill. For me, I feel like maybe it's a skill that I've just, not that I'm the only one that's got this skill, but I feel like it is something that maybe I've just developed over time,
Yeah.
the ability to do that. But I feel like there's positives and there's negatives to that though.
Yeah.
Like the positive is the fact that I can hone in on a task, be able to sleep complete straight away, whatever it is. But then there's also negatives of I'm a goldfish. I forget everything because I'm always switching my brain off all the time. Well, what are some other negatives? I'm that disconnected that sometimes if someone's having a conversation with me, I don't even know what they've said because I'm focusing on something else.
There's a lot, but I think
there is.
if you see the negatives as pure negatives, as you said before, everything happens for a reason.
I just see the positives in it. I'm going to continue doing it. I know sometimes it shits people off, like it pisses you off sometimes. If he's talking to me in the office and I'm working, it's like, "Brendon!" I'm like, "What?"
I think to end this podcast, we will we'll go through a nice reading. This one, I'm not too sure.
What is it? March 27?
Yeah,
Well, we don't have to tell them the exact date today.
you just did.
It's not March 27th today.
This one is pay what things are worth. Diagnosis of Sinope said, "We sell things of great value for things of very little, and vice versa. You can buy a plum blanc diamond encrusted sofa for close to $200,000. It's also possible to hire one person to kill another person for $500. Remember that next time you hear someone ramble on about how the market decides what things are worth, the market might be rational, but the people who compromise it are not.
Comprise it.
Diagnosis who found the Cynic school emphasized the true worth of things, a theme that persisted in Stoicism and was strongly reflected in both Marcus Aurelius and Epictetus. It's easy to lose track. When the people around you dump a fortune into trinkets they can't take with them when they die, it may seem like a good investment for you to make. But of course it isn't. The good things in life cost what they cost. The unnecessary things are not worth it at any price, and the key is being aware of the difference. That's a
See,
bit
like I
deep.
feel like I don't fully agree with everything in the Daily Stoic. So the Daily Stoic says a lot of wise things, talks about Stoicism. A lot of these teachings are from over 100 plus years ago.
More.
Yeah, more. Like, well, there we go. Like even more. So sometimes you gotta fine tooth comb everything that you read, even other books, because at the end of the day, every writing or every book or everything that is written by someone is by that person's opinion, and this might hurt a lot of people's feelings. What I'm about to say, but when you think of religion as well, it was written by someone at some point. No matter what you believe, someone had to write that Bible, the thing that you read, right? At some point, think of the game Chinese Whispers, right? When I tell something to Ray in his ear, and he goes and tells the next person something in his ear, when it comes back around, there's a very high chance that that message has been changed in some way. It might be the same message, but it's obviously changed slightly. Just people's little interpretations of what was said. I feel like that is the same for the Bible, for the Quran, for Stoicism and the Daily Stoic.
Yeah.
So remember to always look at things, see the opinion or see what is written, and make your own judgments of what you know life to be. What I see what I see from there is materialism is not good, right? Materialism is not a good thing.
You can get locked into what
You can
things
get
are
locked
worth.
into it. But I'm still going to buy my 1999 WRX one day because I feel like that would be something I would love to look at and love to fix. And that's materialistic.
Yeah.
That's materialistic as. But I know that I'm going to buy some beaten up one that doesn't even drive, that's not roadworthy, because my goal is to be able to fix that thing up. Don't know how old I'm going to be. I'll probably be in my 40s, 50s. Who knows? But
It's worth the journey.
it's worth the journey. For me, I'm seeing that thing as a project, something that will be fun to do at the end of the day. So in terms of the value, I'd probably pay a lot more money than necessary for something like that, something that won't even drive. But another person might not put the same value on it. And from my economics knowledge, price is determined on supply and demand. The supply for it. So when there's a car that is very rare, like Bugattis, there's only like 5 versions of it or whatever it is. I don't know much about cars, but this will be a common thing. They're obviously going to be really expensive because there's only 5 versions of it. Only 5 people can have that car. So if only 5 people can have it and you've got 7 billion people, it means the price of the car is going to be a lot more than the average car.
Yeah.
Whatever it is. And that's the same is true for everything in the world.
And on that note, I think we ended there. That was very deep to finish off the podcast.
It was. Wait, before I go on, diamonds. Diamonds.
Diamonds?
I found this out this morning, by the way.
I'm curious now.
One of my clients is a jeweler, and she was saying to get one tiny diamonds, you might have to when you're mining whatever, and they collect a rock and they see a little diamond in it. One big rock will only have like one tiny little gemstone, and then that little gemstone is going to be valued dependent on its clarity. So how clear it is on the inside, which is something you can't change. It's going to be dependent on the size of it, the shape of it. There's so many different factors that will determine the size, and then you could be mining for hours or days or whatever and only find one tiny gemstone. So why is it that diamonds are so expensive? That is why. That's it. That's how we end the podcast.
And on that note, go find your diamond. It's within you.
Yes, go find your
We're
diamond,
out.
guys.